America, I'm Hugh Hewitt, joined by Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas, chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, leader of the Republican Conference. Welcome back, Senator. I hope your July is going well.
Hey, Hugh. It's great to be back on with you. Yes, thank you for not calling it the oxymoronic Senate Intelligence Committee.
No, I will never do that. I think it's an important committee. I want to talk to you about Jack Reid. Is Senator Reid on the Intel Committee or just Armed Services?
He and Roger Wicker, as the two senior members of the Armed Services Committee, sit as ex officio non-voting members of the Intelligence Committee, Hugh.
Okay. He is, in my view, a serious man, a serious Democrat. He's West Point. He's a soldier like you. He's Harvard Law like you are. So I think he's a serious guy. I think he's wrong a lot. But in this new book, 2024, by Josh Dawsey, Tyler Page, and Isaac Arnstorff, there is recounted a meeting of Democrats in the Senate, 49 out of 51, after Joe Biden's June 27th debate. And I quote now, Jack Reid of Rhode Island said, 2 independent neurologists should evaluate Biden and release their findings. That's all it says about Jack Reid. What do you think of the importance of that is?
Hugh, I can't vouch for what was written in that book or what the Democrats say behind closed doors at their lunches. But if it is true, it is something that a senior statesman in the Democratic Party should have been saying long before a year ago after that presidential debate. They probably should have been saying it in 2019 because the original sin, to borrow the title of one of those books, is not that Joe Biden chose to run for re-election. It's that he chose to run for election in the first place.
Well, I agree. I just think I just got done talking with Josh Dawsey about this, that it's sort of the MacGuffin hiding there in the middle of the movie. Jack Reid wants independent neurologists, which suggests to me that he was concerned the president lacked the cognitive ability to be president. And if anyone has that concern and they're in the United States Senate, shouldn't they say it out loud? Would you say that if you thought that about a president?
Well, at a minimum, they certainly shouldn't be saying what most Democratic senators were saying, what most members of the media were saying, which is that no, he's fit as a fiddle, sharp as a tack. He runs circles around me. So it's one thing to not voice concerns privately about a president of one's own party, but it's another thing to go out to affirmatively misrepresent it to the American people. Now, to be clear and to be fair to Senator Reid, I don't know if he expressed that. If he did, he shouldn't have. But I do know that people like Chuck Schumer were out talking about Joe Biden's fitness for office while they were privately behind closed doors questioning it. And that never happened.
Leader Schumer does not come off well in this book either. In fact, nobody does. You wonder who can drive the car in the Democratic Party. Now, there'll be 20 different people running for office in both parties in 2028. But I'm beginning to wonder if the Democrats have anyone who can drive a campaign. Do you think they're out of gas, maybe long in the tooth?
Hugh, I'm not a pundit, and I'm certainly not a Democratic Party operative, so I'll let them sort that out about who wants to run their failed campaign in 2028. But I will say this. Anyone who was in or around Washington in the Biden campaign in 2024 has a lot of splaining to do about why they covered up Joe Biden's obvious cognitive decline. So again, I don't know who the nominee is going to be, but I would not want to be a senator or a congressman or a governor that was close to the campaign explaining why I spent all of 2023 and 2024 covering up Joe Biden's decline.
Oh, good point. Well, let me ask you about the Recision, Senator. That package is coming to the floor. I hope you defund NPR, CPB, and PBS. I know there's some resistance among Republicans to do so. What is the status, in your view, of the Recision package?
I think it's moving in the right direction. It's a small step in the right direction to get runaway spending under control. Obviously, some senators have concerns about idiosyncrasies of their state. I can't speak to every senator's state or what local public radio or public television does in every single state. So we'll listen to those concerns, and if there's something that either the Senate can do or the administration can do to make sure that every senator's concerns are heard and voiced and maybe addressed if possible, we'll take those steps necessary to pass this bill. But as the president has said, we need to show that we can take this very modest step in imposing some spending discipline in Washington.
Now, I believe there is a Friday deadline to getting the Recision package over the finish line. If you make changes, will there be enough time for the House to vote on those changes?
On the Budget Act, I think we anticipate voting in the Senate finally on Wednesday, so we can send that to the House Wednesday night, Thursday morning, and the House can obviously move quickly to vote on Thursday or Friday and send it down the street for the president's signature.
Okay, now I want to switch over to something I asked Dr. Orrin about last hour. Reports that Israeli jets struck Syrian tanks as they advanced on Druze populations inside of Syria. Whatever you can tell us about that, tell us about that. Is that another war, or is that policing?
Nah. Well, Hugh, I can't speak about the specific incident or similar such incidents. I can say that Prime Minister Netanyahu has made it clear for years, but in particular since the collapse of the Assad tyranny last fall, that Israel will not allow its interests to be threatened in Syria. And you've seen repeated actions going back years, for instance, to strike weapons convoys coming from Iran, intended for Hezbollah in Lebanon before Israel decapitated its leadership. And no one should be surprised that Israel takes a close and careful interest in what's happening inside of Syria that could possibly threaten Israel.
And then the last question, Senator, it's been a few weeks now since the 12-day war against Iran. Are you confident that a substantial blow was dealt the Iranian nuclear program?
I am, Hugh, but I would invite your listeners not to take my word for it. You can look at the word of nonpartisan professionals who have spent a lifetime studying the matter. You have David Albright, who's a longtime weapons inspector in Iran, who is recognized as an expert on the nuclear program. Rafael Grossi, the head of the United Nations International Atomic Energy Commission. You have Norm Rule, who was the national intelligence manager for Iran under the Obama administration when President Obama was sailing the JCPOA, the nuclear deal with Iran. They all, in the last couple of weeks, have used words like catastrophic damage, effectively destroyed, severely degraded. So whatever language you want to use, it is totally clear that Israel pummeled Iran's nuclear infrastructure and that President Trump helped deliver the knockout blow to that nuclear infrastructure. And obviously, Iran, like any nation, could try to reconstitute it and continue down the path towards a nuclear weapon. But as Prime Minister Netanyahu said last week in Washington, Israel still has a very close eye on everything going on related to Iran's nuclear program. And just as they demonstrated last month, they will never allow Iran to get close to a nuclear weapon. But Iran is much farther away today than they were a month ago.
Senator Cotton, thank you for your time. I appreciate that update.